So tell me a little bit about the backstory of Hurricane Marsh.
So that we get asked it a lot.
On this week's episode of Chance of Storms Outdoors, I took a trip to Lake St. Louis in Bush Wildlife to visit the team over at Hurricane Marsh, a local growing brand in the region that creates and sells apparel and accessories focused on hunting and the outdoors. I sat down with John Blevins to find out more about the brand's local ties and talk about the spring turkey season. Awesome. So tell me a little bit about the backstory of Hurricane Marsh.
So that we get asked it a lot. So how the name came about, I bought a farm over in Illinois for duck hunting years ago, back in 1999, actually. When I bought it, it flooded real bad. And I was kind of, does it flood like this all the time? I asked the farmer, Joe, and Joe said, don't worry, water's in and out like a hurricane. So I named all my hunting spots. That spot became known as Hurricane Marsh. So that's where the name came from. And then you fast forward a few years later, me and my buddy's been going to Saskatchewan for like 30 years, mainly chasing snow geese. And we have a big migrator pit in north central Missouri that we would hunt snow geese at. And they're like, man, make something cool for snow goose on, a white hoodie or something. So nobody was making anything back then. So I made my first one, brought it home, threw it on the couch, didn't think nothing of it. My daughter Macy, who's sitting over there, she came home from school and was like, Dad, that's cool. You can sell that on Instagram. And I was like, what's Instagram? I'm old, man. I didn't know. And so long story short, she made an account. A few months later, she's like, look at all these people DMing us wanting to know where they can buy it. She said, why don't you start a lifestyle brand of all the cool stuff you do in the outdoors? So just kind of took off from there. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we make, it comes from photos of when I was out hunting or pictures of our dogs retrieving a bird or, something of that sort.
Tell me a little bit about your roots. Where are you from? How long have you been in the area? You don't, of course, have to get specific about anything, but just kind of like the city area. That way, people know this is a local brand.
Oh, yeah.
They get it here.
Yeah, I'm a North County boy. Grew up in Ferguson most of my life, and when my wife and I got married, we moved out to O'Fallon, and we've been there ever since, and raised two kids out there.
Tell me a little bit about your guys' product.
The core foundation of it was graphic tees designed around our hunting lifestyle, what we did. I mean, we have a speckle bellied on a shirt that had a redneck collar on it. I actually shot that just north of where the Missouri and the Mississippi confluence is, and had a redneck collar on it. And then the dog T-shirts are huge. We sell so many of those, and those are actual photos of our dogs. You probably met Rip when you came in, and we'll have a shirt coming out with him here soon.
Let's talk about the local ties you guys have and how you guys give back. Because, like you said, I mean, Ducks Unlimited, Delta Waterfowl, and you said you guys eventually want to get in with an NWTF and partnerships there. Tell me what that means and why it's so important to give back to conservation.
Well, waterfowl hunting is responsible for this business. If I wouldn't have done everything that I did back in the day, it's just driven me. And you're a waterfowl hunter. You know what it's like. I mean, you miss sleep. You do anything you can to get out there and hunt. And and as well as the wild turkey, it's a big part of our lives. When you came here today, we were in the back getting camera lenses ready and just trying to figure all that out. But it's very important to us to make sure that we give back, so those opportunities are there for my kids, my grandkids, and everybody else's grandkids that aren't even born yet. So those opportunities will be there. I grew up public hunting. I still public hunt. Love to do it. And it takes a lot of funding to make those places happen, but also the grassroots efforts that Ducks Unlimited, Delta Waterfowl, and NWTF, they're there fighting, making sure habitat's there, maintaining that habitat, and securing habitat so we do have those opportunities, for our grandkids and others as they grow up in the future. Because if it wasn't for their work, it wouldn't be there.
Tell me a little bit about where you guys are typically at. I know I had a couple buddies that were telling me they met you guys down at NWTF, the convention down there, and kind of talk about where people can come out and meet you guys.
Yeah, so the National Wild Turkey Federation has a huge convention in Nashville, which if you're just an outdoor enthusiast, come down. You don't have to be a turkey hunter. everything in outdoor industries there. And if you like country music, Grand Ole Opry's right next door. So that'd be a good time. But we do a lot of different things across the country. We do country music festivals. That'll start up in June. We do one in Bloomington, Illinois called Tailgates and Tallboys. We go from there to up to a little small town called Cadott, Wisconsin, which you're driving and you're out in the middle of a farm field, and then all of a sudden, boom, a big country music venue pops up, and that'll be the end of June. And then we're kind of off a little bit around the 4th of July, but then our everything really kicks in mid-July. We started down in Birmingham at the World Deer Expo, and then we kind of split up. Sam and Macy will be doing the Delta Waterfowl Expo in Des Moines, and also doing Ducks, which is the Ducks Unlimited Expo down in Memphis. And then me and my wife will be down south in Mississippi. So we're all over the place.
So you were talking about a couple of artists. Go ahead and name drop some artists that you've been seeing wearing some of the gear. You have to.
Yeah, well, like I said, Tucker Wetmore was wearing that. Hardy did. He wore at, I guess it was at Tailgates and Tallboys. They came in and they were having camo night, and he wore a camo button-up in concert. And thanks, Hardy, for doing that. But it just kind of blew things up. We got a brand deal we're excited to announce with Kelsey Hart right now. He's just had a baby boy, I believe, and baby girl. And but yeah, he's been really good to us, and we met him up at Cadott, Wisconsin, at the Hoofbeat concert. So and then there's various other artists you see from time to time that have it on, and it's great. A lot of country music songwriters. So speaking, we're getting into turkey season here, and a lot of people are going to be seeing this probably somewhere midway between to the end of turkey season. So tell me about your passion with turkey hunting and kind of what you guys do with your gear for turkey season. Oh yeah, sure. So one of the hat I got on right now, that's one of our big turkey hunting hats. We also have the same one, and there's one behind it. But yeah, we have a big line of turkey hunting hats, apparel that it's good to wear like as a base layer underneath it, but we don't have anything in like bottom land or anything other than our hats. But we have some graphic tees that represent our turkey hunting passion, and people that live it year round. And a lot of people don't know, but I really wasn't a big turkey hunter until not too long ago. I was too busy chasing my daughter and her older brother around playing sports when they were younger in the spring. And so when they went to college, I guess I was getting on my wife's nerves. She's like, you need to find something to do. And one of the farms I hunt up there, they're just so blessed. They're so good to me. They're so busy farming. They deer hunt. Yeah. No deer hunting allowed.
That's a hard one to come by usually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But we do some goose hunting up there. And so the dad was like, well, we're too busy farming. Why don't you try turkey hunting in the spring? So, man, I got hooked.
Yeah. Oh, my
right
gosh,
away.
Yeah.
And so now we tour. We'll start next week in Missouri, of course, and then I've been to Alabama and got our butts kicked down there.
I've heard from some people that is the hardest.
Turkeys.
I heard you go right to Georgia, or you go to Florida, and it's a lot easier. And it's actually funny, when we went down there for spring break in college, we were going to Panama City, and everybody, all the locals were telling us that, because we were talking about, instead of doing that, let's go on a turkey hunting trip. Yeah. And we were talking to some guys in our duck club that were from Alabama, and they're like, good luck. They're like, we go everywhere else besides here because it's so hard.
I tell you, they are the toughest birds. I mean, we were into turkeys off the roost every day. We were down there for 5 days. Yeah, in them every day, pretty much all the way to noon, and everything from trying to just scratch in the leaves, not call. They'd sit there and gobble. They're what a lot of people don't understand. A tom coming to you, a gobbler, is defying everything in nature. Yeah, they usually sit in one place, call, and the hens run to them. And they are by the book down there.
Yeah,
they don't budge much. We'll get them to break a little bit, but I think we had several birds just out of range so many times that week. And I mean, I don't have to kill a turkey every time I go to the woods. Yeah. My thing is, if I hear them gobble, I'm good.
Yeah, that's how I am. If I hear them gobble, or if I see them, or if I get some type of reaction for calling, even if they don't get close, I mean, it's just so cool to see. And then, it's kind of like waterfowling, and I'm sure you get it whenever you get to like actually work and decoy and call. Yeah. The art of deception is that's for me, that's the coolest part. Like if I wasn't doing meteorology, I was going to do conservation, and now I get to do a little bit of both kind of parts of it. But yeah, no, that's the fun part about turkey hunting, is it's so interactive, because I know a lot of us waterfowl hunters, I have buddies, they don't deer hunt much because they don't like to sit still, and turkey hunting, you get to provide that opportunity to go chase if you want, or sit still if you really like.
Yeah, I think it's the interaction between, like, honker hunting's my big thing, and I always say, God made waterfowl season and turkey season at different times of the year, so you didn't have to choose.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's working birds and their interaction back and forth with you, because honkers will really react with you, and you can talk to them. And the same with these turkeys, you get them going, and you kind of start, except for the ones in Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can kind of read them and know what you probably should or shouldn't do next. And most of the time it works out, but it's something that's something that has a brain the size of a soybean can outsmart you that
Oh my
much.
gosh. Yeah.
It's frustrating and humbling in the same time.
Yeah. And so speaking on that, talking turkeys, what is your favorite style of hunting? You know, I like to be set up on the edge of a field. You know, I like to see them coming in, especially if you're shooting for cameras. But are you more of like a hard timber hunter? Do you want to be in the field, or are you aggressive on them, or do you wait back and let them come to you? Really, like, what is kind of your style of hunting that you prefer if you can go after a turkey?
There's nothing like a big old eastern in the oaks and the timber. I mean, you get one hammered in there, just the acoustics, the sound, the echoing of it is so loud. I'll take that 9 out of 10 times. Now, I'm not opposed to our first day that we're going to hunt, probably going to hunt the field edge, because it's just, I've got turkeys on camera and I've shot one pretty at that same spot for I don't know how many years opening day.
Yeah.
It's just, they're there. And you talk about conservation work, these farms that I'm so blessed to hunt, these guys, they work so hard at predator management,
Yeah.
and also not farming edge to edge and leaving a little bit, because it not only benefits the turkeys, it benefits quail and everything else. So conservation-minded farmers, you can just tell different places that I'm lucky enough to get to go hunt. These farms that really go through that little bit extra, the bird populations are just, it's incredible. It was so cool because his two boys, they didn't double up because the older boy was independent this year. They're gonna let him hunt by himself.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and I had video cameras, set up. I just like watching them, and then also too, it kind of gives us an idea how many times we have on the place without going in there and bumping them and disturbing them.
Yeah.
So we know what we can regulate the harvest at too, because we don't want to take all them birds off there. We want to make sure there's still plenty to come for the years after. And but we had like 5 or 6 strutters showing up to one spot, and he took his youngest boy in there, and the older boy sat up on the behind him at a different spot. We've been seeing turkeys, and I think the youngest boy killed one in like the first 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was good.
I said that youth season's good too, and
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't know this. I talked to the Missouri State biologist, Nick Oakley, with Missouri Department of Conservation. I feel like a lot of people and a lot of viewers might not know this. I didn't know this as a longtime turkey hunter either. Is that youth season's so good because they actually figure when they do the actual season that I think it's 50% of birds have already mated.
Yes.
Going into the actual start of turkey season. So a lot of people might not actually know that. And so it gets pretty tough, especially, you get into the second week of season, because a lot of those birds, they've already henned up maybe once or twice. And some of those birds are actually laying their eggs in the middle of season. So a lot of people don't think we're actually hunting the second almost, for deer hunting, almost rut for turkey season, the second peak in the actual mating. And that's why a lot of people might get frustrated that second or third season, because it just gets so hard because those birds have been chasing so much. And like you said, it's kind of more of a play of, okay, I got to get to him because he might not want to come to me.
Yeah, they've played the game already, and if Mike Chamberlain, I don't know if you know who he is, he world renowned turkey. I call him the turkey expert, but the turkey doctor, a lot of people call him. He's on a lot of different hunting shows, the Hunting Public, Woodhaven, has him on, but he's very interesting to listen to, and you're right. And for conservation reasons, to make sure that those hens are bred, and just in some instances, if unfortunate, if those toms were taken out of the mix, those hens are already bred, so that next year that reproduction keeps cycling through, and we are on the downside of the gobbling when we start, and they have to do that. And I don't think a lot of people understand, but if they didn't, and we over harvested on the toms by accident, our turkey populations would be in a lot of trouble.
A lot of people, I feel like, also don't realize that where our spring rain is kind of a big key factor. I mean, flooding and especially, a lot of these birds are laying their eggs around creeks and places like that. So anytime we have flooding, basically during season and right after, that is critical to development in what the next year's population looks like, because those birds they're not in tune with that. I mean, they'll flood out the nest. The eggs will get flooded out, so that hurts the population so much. And then on top of that, sometimes it doesn't happen often, but whenever our temperatures really drop off, I mean, we got to have maybe some dew on the ground. We're closer to below freezing, and pretty far underneath that. That too, those young birds those young poults that start getting out and about, they can't
right.
handle that cold very well, which thankfully in Missouri, that's not much of an issue. I think it's more of an issue northeast, from what I've been told from biologists. But yeah, it's just crazy. There's so many different factors. And like you said, it takes habitat management, predator management. And then on top of all that, for a great successful year, you have to have all the weather conditions. So it's just kind of one of those
Absolutely.
beauties of nature to see it all come together.
Yeah, if we have a cold, wet spring, and you're right, because those poults, a lot of people don't understand they can't fly up in the tree right
Yep.
away, so they're more exposed to predators, and if it's a cold, wet spring, those little birds they can't survive running because they're constantly wet because they're just running through the grass trying to
Yep.
escape predators all the time, and whereas and it's neat because one of the farmers there he actually discs up some ground here and there in some of his food plots for deer, and it allows them poults those places where they can go out and peck it, and scratch in the dirt and
Yep.
everything. But they also have cover to dive into if they do get threatened or whatever. So it's there's a lot that goes
Oh
into
my
it,
gosh, yeah.
a whole lot. In MDC with the burns that they do, burns in the woods is so important.
Oh yeah, get all
Um,
that because I know too much dense forest coverage is such an issue in turkeys. They don't like too much of that, and like you said, so just burning it just helps
yeah,
regulate that and gives them that opportunity to get to areas they want to be and get around a lot easier.
sure, absolutely,
Yep.
yeah.
So speaking on this, we'll kind of get into some of the closing parts of this. Going forward, where do you want to see your brand go, and what do you want people to take away from what you guys are trying to achieve?
We're always trying to think of what's next, what's new, what avenue can we get into, but also stay that core family value brand that we are. We just want to send a message out there that we're a small business. We work hard as a family, and we play hard as a family, and we just want our customers to realize that hey, you can do that kind of. We try to make everything quality, so if you work and play hard, you can be assured wearing our stuff. It's and Rip's even joining in on the conversation, but
He's second you on that.
yeah, he agrees. So yeah, we're just family core, God, family, country. I mean, that's just the way we our values and goals are set, and we hope that we reflect that in the things that we do, um, uh, and share that with everybody, and hope they feel the same, because everybody's here with a talent and a skill to do something.